Okay, good evening. The Twiggs County Board of Education meeting is now called to order. Today is Tuesday, July the 28th, 2020, and the time is 6:02 p.m. We have our board chair and three of our members here, and Mr. Dixon here. Ms. Stokes is not here at the moment, and we're hoping maybe she'll call in. And Diane, we've been trying to get in touch with her for that. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in the moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you for that. At this time, I'm entertaining a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, Tuesday, July the 28th, 2020. This evening, we're going to discuss an information item of the COVID-19 leave plan. That's an information item. We got two action items, the strategic waiver review, and the next action item is our spending resolution for August. And then our last information item in our business agenda will be the budget calendar revision. And then we'll have executive session for personnel matters. So is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
I move that motion. Madam Chair.
Ms. Blackshear made the motion. Is there a second?
Second motion.
The motion's been made by Mr. Rouse. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
And Ms. Blackshear, you say aye as well?
Ms. Blackshear said aye.
Okay. Ms. Blackshear said aye, and so there's none opposed. So that motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Blackshear, could you give it the next item, is the approval of the minutes from our July 14th BOE regular session. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I make that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Mr. Rouse and seconded by Ms. Blackshear. Is there any discussion? No discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, those opposed, same sign. Okay, that motion carries unanimously, I believe. That motion carries. All right, our next item on our agenda will be our ethics statement. Ms. Blackshear, could you give us an ethics statement, please?
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest scheduled before us or appearing on our proposed agenda? Madam Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you for that. And we are just treading along and learning a little bit more about technology each step of the way. And we're making it work for us and working for it and making it work for us. So thank you for that, Ms. Blackshear. Mr. Dixon, do you have any comments?
Madam Chair, just so thankful for each of you to join us this evening. for our board meeting and working on behalf of scholars and stakeholders of Twiggs County during this perilous time. This is definitely a time of uncertainty, but as we move forward to make sure that we're prepared and ready to educate the students and scholars of Twiggs County, we want to reassure this community that we're making the best decisions possible. We're still continuing to have our Thunder Talks on Thursday, Cobra Talks, and our administrative staff. We gather every Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. We have had very good sessions thus far. We're very excited that the State Department of Education did put out a proposal on connectivity, concerning connectivity grant, a grant yesterday. So I did respond to that immediately. And just before I got online tonight, I did have saw a response where we will have to respond back to them concerning that. So I'm hoping that we will be able to tap into that resource with the collaborative between the State Department of Education and Verizon. So I'm hoping that that will afford our stakeholders some opportunity to make sure that they have the proper connectivity. We're also in partnership with the Regional Library Consortium. They did provide some hotspots for us last year, and Ms. Epps serves on that board, and she was in communication with them yesterday, and they will meet today trying to see if we could get those hotspots again. So everybody is working cooperatively with us to try and ensure that we get the connectivity that we need to ensure that all of our scholars have a fair opportunity at an equal education. So I want to say thank you for what you do. Thank you to the community for being patient with us, and we are doing the very best to move forward.
Thank you for that, Mr. Dixon. I have been listening in on the talks every Thursday, either live or after the fact. And it seems like the community is able to ask any questions that they have live right there while you're having the presentation, and their questions are being answered, or they're directed to where they need to go to get their questions answered. So I think that's a wonderful thing for our parents to be able to tune into that and get questions, because I think a lot of times we have more questions right now than if we could get our questions answered and the community get their questions answered, they can move forward and maybe feel a little bit better and a little safer about what's going on. So thank you for that. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to say during this time?
Yeah, just to piggyback off what you just said, keeping the community involved, letting them know what's going on. I love that Thursday talk. So that's awesome for all the staff and Mr. Dixon. Y'all doing a great job on that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That if we don't have any further comments, we're going to move on to our business agenda. And the first item on our business agenda is the COVID-19 leave plan. This is an information item, Mr. Dick.
Yes, Madam Chair, there is with our COVID leave plan, we have to have some administrative rules as it relates to the COVID plan. There are some things by the labor laws that we have to abide by, but I just wanted some input from our board as it relates to our COVID leave plan for Twiggs County. One of the things being, as we address leave, I don't want people to be afraid to let us know that they're dealing with the COVID-19 issue because of leave time. So I want people to feel free to express to us to let us know that they're dealing with an issue. So I think we have to take the thing of leave off of the table. And because we are right now doing most of our work virtually, or have the opportunity to do it virtually, I think if we can take that away off of the table, because if, say for instance, if one of our staff members were to contract COVID at work or think they contracted it at work, how would that affect their leave? Would they have to take leave with that? So just so that we can have open communication with it, we need to have some discussion as it relates to leave and how we would count leave as it relates to COVID. We will get some reimbursement from the federal government as it relates to COVID and people that are affected by it. So we won't be at a loss as it relates to that. So my suggestion as far as our plan is concerned is that we, those that are diagnosed and have a doctor's diagnosed with it, that we don't count that towards their leave. And I just want to get some input from you all. Those 10 to 14 days that they have to be quarantined.
Yes, sir. And I was thinking that the CARES Act or the Family Medical Leave Act kind of has a little bit of that language in it. Am I correct in saying that, or is that just for certain employees?
It does. It doesn't cover everybody in every area.
I don't think that we should count it against them if they do have a doctor's note saying that they was diagnosed with COVID. I mean, that's something that you can't help, so that's my thought.
Okay. Mr. Ross, you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I agree. I don't think that should be counted against them. Mainly, and it shouldn't. I mean, and we can't say how many days because in cases where COVID known to be last longer than 14 days, with certain people.
Yes, sir.
But on this, I don't think we can count. We should count that against them. I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Harris, did you have any thoughts towards that?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to get.
I agree with Mr. Rouse and Ms. Blackshear. I agree with you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Rain. I thought you were getting. Well, I think I just wanted to get some input from you guys as it relates to that plan, and I will definitely email the plan that the administrative team, we're working on it together, and I will email that out to you all. But that was one of the main things that I felt like I needed some information from you all with.
Can I ask a question as well?
Yeah.
It's not about and you may already have from your agenda about the teachers. Would they have the option as well to work from home?
Madam Ms. Blackshear, that is going to be something that we will discuss a little later on our agenda in executive session. But we will definitely, that is something that's on the radar for us to talk about. And I think it's something that we will need to talk about tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions about this item on our agenda? All right, with that being said, we're going to move on to item B of our agenda, and that is the strategic waiver review, and that is an action item. Mr. Dixon.
Madam Chair, we had our strategic waiver review on the agenda because at the time when we pulled our strategic waiver, we wanted to make sure that we had everything covered. As we looked over our strategic waiver, we have everything covered. So there's nothing that we have to update with our strategic waiver. At this time, my recommendation would be that our strategic waiver stands as it is. We don't have to add anything. We already had distance learning in our strategic waiver. We already had number of days waived in our strategic waiver. So we already had everything that we needed to be covered. So that was the reason why I put our strategic waiver review on our agenda. But after a thorough review, we have covered all of the waivers that we need to cover. COVID is just causing us to review everything. So our plan is good for what we need.
So do you need to recommend, and we put this in the form of a motion, Mr. Dixon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is, one question that I have, is this available, is this exhibit available on our website for our
Yes, ma'am.
stakeholders to see?
Yes, ma'am. It will be if it's not.
Okay, so you've heard, we have Exhibit B in our information packet that describes our flexibility contract for the strategic waiver, and it is the same. There are no changes from what we have been having. Is there a motion to approve this this strategic waiver?
Or maybe I'll entertain any questions if there are any
If
questions.
they have any questions first, okay.
Yes. No questions, and I'm sure we will.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, I make the motion to approve the strategic waiver lease review.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Rouse to approve our strategic waiver contract that we have. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 And that's an aye for me. That's 4 ayes. That motion carries. Mr. Dixon, thank you.
Thank you.
Go. Give me a moment. Let me go back. Let me get back to our agenda. Okay, our next item, item C, will be the August 2020 spending resolution, and this is an action item. Mr. Austin.
All right. Good afternoon, Board Chair, Board Member Superintendent Dixon. As you know, last month we had to do a spending resolution for July. And since we have not approved the budget, we have to do the same for August. Same information we had in the past. Only difference is that they all give the actual date, what month that we're looking at. So we're just seeking approval so that we actually make operations and other expenditures. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Austin, what's the purpose of us needing a spending resolution for the month of August?
Yes, so we have not approved the budget. And by law, we cannot spend $1 until we actually have a fiscal year budget approval.
Do you have an estimated time of when the budget will be presented to the board for approval?
Yes, sir, and I'll talk about that on the next item. Yes, sir. But it will be next month.
Maybe we should have inverted that on the agenda.
So it goes to August 1, Mr. Harris, and we don't have a spending resolution, then we can't pay bills at the time. As of right now, we have to wait 2 weeks just to actually have public hearings to get the proper feedback and things of that nature. So we get to a point to where throughout next month, we're not gonna have enough time to make payables. So that
Mr. Austin, what you can do is let's go ahead and talk about, because I think what Mr. Harris is trying to get an understanding of is the time frame and a timeline. If you go ahead and just talk through the budget timeline.
Sure, yeah, no problem. It's bad if you can get up the next item, which is the budget calendar. We can talk through that. So tentatively, looking at the budget calendar, here, if you can scroll up a little, Mr. Bassett. All right. So if you look at August the 11th, is what we're looking at. Looking to actually present a tentative budget and the 5-year tax digest. With that, we'll kind of talk about the elements of the budget, things we've done in the past. Going forward on the week of August 17th, we're actually looking to approve the tax digest and also have the first public hearing for the 21 budget. And on the 27th, look at approving the FY21 budget. And the space is for us having enough time for public hearing and public input and any feedback that's necessary before approval, because it has to be ran in legal organ or on our website for 2 weeks before approval.
And we have to do it in conjunction with Mr. Buddy Neesmith,
Yes.
tax question. And then you have to get it approved and get it to the commissioners to put their stamp on approval as well. In about their time frame as well.
Okay. It looks like on this schedule that we have done everything all the way down until August the 11th. And on August the 11th, we're going to, Mr. Austin's going to present the tentative budget and the 5-year tax digest. And then on the 17th will be the first public hearing. And then on the 27th will be the second public hearing and a recommendation to approve the 21 budget. Is that what is going on in this calendar?
Correct.
Ms. Kaufman, would you respond there to Ms. Winey's?
I'm sorry.
He said correct. For some reason, he's cutting out.
I heard him. He was breaking up a little bit, but I heard him before. I did hear him before. He said that's correct. So, Mr. Harris, I can't hear you.
I need it for you.
The response was sufficient.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other?
Until we have a budget, each month, we would have to have a spending resolution approved by the board in order to go forward.
So I am aware of that. I think my question, let me get to the meat of my question since we continuing. The meat of my question is, why didn't we, considering that we started on our budget much sooner this year and we were already in a good place for viewing our budget, which we had done some good strategic planning, which, thank you, Mr. Austin, for such good work up until this point. However, when we accepted the resolution for the month of July, I thought that we would at this point have a budget before us, concluding the end of the month. But it's fine that we accept this resolution for the month of August. However, in reference to the agenda, I would have loved to see why we needed another month before we accept. That's all I was asking.
Okay.
So I get we need it, and I get we're going to approve it. However, I just wanted to know, where were we with our budget? What did our budget look like? Have we gotten any new documents showing? We know that we have a cut coming. We know that we have a state cut coming. We need it to be updated. We had a preliminary meeting discussing where our cuts would come from. How could we do that? So the workshop set us in a good place, but then we fell off after the workshop, and we don't have any updates. So it would have made me feel a little bit more comfortable knowing where we were with our budget and what we need to do as far as, will there be a millage increase? Will there be, will we keep things the same? Will teachers have furloughs? That's the conversation that I would love to have. But I see that we have those conversations coming in August. That's why I would love to see the plan prior to recommending another extension. But I understand.
Okay, and I think preliminary, Mr. Austin is ready to make those projected statements. Those things that you're wanting to hear. Now, we have the numbers from the state, and you are correct. We do have more information. Mr. Austin?
Yeah, so that's true. We do have more information. And in the last meeting, we talked about having a more percentage of the budget being cut than we anticipated. So that caused us to do some more planning and kind of think through to make sure this approach was still appropriate. And so that's the reason why, another $100,000 we had to account for. So that kind of took us to a different planning. So that was the reason for the delay. And you are right, Mr. Harris, we were geared up, ready to go. Had our ducks in a row, and then we saw that we had another cut that we didn't anticipate from the state. So I think now we have the opportunity to go forth, present some numbers, provide some dialogue around that based upon some of the conversation that passed. And of course, you have ample enough time to review it. Any questions, concerns, we can address that next month before we just have the final.
And based upon the recommendations that we have on the table, with the plan that we have, we will be making a recommendation of no millage increase and no teacher furlough.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of that information. Does anyone have any other does anyone have any other questions?
Even the dog was happy.
And I'm upstairs. I'm in a completely different room. So I did come all the way up. So with that being said, is there a motion to approve our spending resolution for August?
Madam Chair, I make that motion.
Thank you,
second.
Mr. And the motion was made by Mr. Rouse and seconded by Ms. Blackshear. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 And I say aye. That motion carries unanimously with our members present. Thank you for that, Mr. Austin. And I believe you killed two birds with one stone. Is there anything else that needs to be said about the next item on our agenda, which was the calendar adjustment? I think he pretty much covered it.
Yes.
Nothing with that. Okay, so with nothing being said with that, I think that covers item D on our agenda, and that concludes our business agenda. Am I correct in saying so?
Yes.
Okay, so at this time, I entertain a motion to move into executive session for personnel matters.
I move that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Rouse. All in favor, please say aye.
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 That motion carries, and we shall return. Okay, is there a motion to return to regular session from executive session?
I move that motion.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Wells. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Okay, our first item in our executive session, we discussed personnel matters, and the first recommendation is CID 3660, administrative assistant at Twiggs County High School. Is there a motion to approve our superintendent's recommendation regarding CID 3660?
I move that motion.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ralph. All in favor, please say aye.
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 That motion carries unanimously, and I say aye. That's 4 ayes. All right. Is there a motion concerning our superintendent's recommendation of CID 3001, sped paraprofessional?
I made that motion.
The motion has been made by Mr. Ralph. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Blackshear. All in favor, please say aye.
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 That motion carries 4 ayes. And then is there a motion to approve the appointment or transfer involving EID 072601 for sped director?
I made that motion.
The motion's been made by Mr. Rouse. Is there a second? Please let me know if you need more time to second. Okay, that motion fails. There's no second, so there's no movement on that. Okay, is there a motion? So that concludes our personnel. That concludes our personnel and our meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I made that motion.
The motion has been made by Mr. Rouse. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Blackshear. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. That motion carries. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.